Hello, this is Dr. Amba of Sunrise Integrative Therapies, and I am a doctor of medical qigong therapy, and we are at April 28th, 2025, on the fourth day of transformation from overwhelm to inner peace, focusing on the wood element, anger, frustration, impatience, as they are the acquired emotions of the liver, and cultivating or transforming that uncomfortable emotion that is acquired into the virtues, or recharging really what is already there. The virtues of the liver: compassion, kindness, and patience. Patience is something that you hear all the time. Patience is a virtue, right? So, patience, compassion, and kindness. People say benevolence. People say, uh, really having um, alignment. And I say people. The traditional Chinese medicine within the spiritual side of medical qigong therapy, which I am a doctor of, we talk about the wood element as we ourselves are standing on the earth like a tree, right? Are reaching up, connecting to the heavens where we get the sun to grow, right? And our roots are into the earth. So as we are, if you believe in lifetimes, in this lifetime, we are born of the earth. We are living here, having an experience, a spiritual experience in a human body. And this is the connection to earth and to heaven. We say a Tai Chi pull from the top of the head to the pelvic floor. This Tai Chi pull, this that connects us to the earth energetically, kind of like a lightning rod, if you will, to the heavens. Okay, so we are spiritual beings, and earth being where we live, being grounded, this is where we have the metal comes from earth, and the condensation of the metal comes water, and water is what nurtures the wood, and then the wood goes into the fire. So we have fire. When it burns, becomes ash, becomes earth. Okay. And then earth to metal, and then metal condensation to water. Water's the wood. Wood grows, you burn it, it's fire. So this is the cycle. This is the phases. The fire is heart, and that wood is liver. And liver is what we're talking about today on the 28th of April in 2025, the fourth day. So day after tomorrow on the 30th will be the last day talking about the heart. And when I find myself being out of alignment, not really following my purpose, I can get frustrated very easily. I may have problems sleeping. Guess what? Between the hours of 1 and 3 in the morning relate to the liver. The gallbladder, the parent organ of the liver, is 11 p.m. to 1 p.m. Ideally, you want to be asleep before 11. Now, that said, some of us work doing things that, it's hard to slow down the mind when we have ideas, raising my hand, and we may find challenges getting to sleep. So, if possible, try to be asleep by 11, or at the latest before 1, because 1 to 3 you want to be asleep, because there's something called the three ethereal souls, these Hun, in not Chinese medicine, specifically in something called Taoism. Okay. And I'm not going to go there in detail, except to say that we want to be asleep during that time so the three ethereal souls can travel, can leave and travel. That is our spiritual, so to speak, kind of where we get our inspiration, where we get extra knowing and wisdom. Sometimes we have night school at that time, but you need to be asleep to do it. Doesn't always necessarily mean that you get great sleep if you're having night school. But you can put the intention that you will and declare with your free will that you absorb this knowledge with grace and ease and good sleep. But 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, ideally, be asleep. I'm not going to say anything more about that, except that at 3 o'clock is often a time when people wake up. And um, whether it's just to go to the restroom really quick and you can come back and go to bed, or if you're like me last night, had some ideas and I wanted to write them down, then, you know, always have some paper and pen or wooden pencil, yellow paper we use for a lot of this stuff we do with medical qigong therapy, because those ideas can be really important at that time and all the time, when we have ideas and when we wake up. The key is to be able to go back to sleep. If you are like Rumi, don't go back to sleep. Rumi said, don't go back to sleep because there's things that, we may be inspired to do at that time if we wake up. However, sleep is very important. When we are scattered, this is what I was going to say. When we're scattered and ungrounded and maybe not getting enough sleep, the when the 3 Hun travel between 1 and 3 in the morning, it's not cozy, comfy for them to come back thinking about like a bush where birds have their little nest. Well, if you're throwing rocks into the bush, they don't want to come back, right? So if you're ungrounded, y- it's hard to be in alignment. It's hard to have all that divine inspiration, or it's challenging. You're setting it up to be a little more challenging. So try to get good sleep. Try, decide, not try, and then really surrender. I think that's the big thing for inner peace, with overwhelm and inner peace, is surrendering to the lessons you're being gifted with. Now, frustration, impatience, anger, if we're not being compassionate to someone's situation, it's easy to get frustrated or angry with them or yourself. Being compassionate to yourself, going, oh, Amba, you didn't get that great of sleep. You really need to take it easy today and do less, maybe cancel some things, meditate at that time, or take a nap because it's not going to serve anybody if you're not really well rested. Being compassionate to yourself is listening to what you need. It's self-care. I want to say when my dad had dementia and he, you know, was a little bit like a toddler himself, I was taking care of him and not getting a lot of self-care. That's actually how I ended up having retreats, was self-care retreats for myself and for others who are caregivers who don't take a lot of time for themselves and go into nature. And nature is about one of the best things you can take as medicine, being near water, being in the woods, mountains. I love mountains. I love oceans and lakes. How about you? Even just going to park the car and looking. I would take my dad all the time to Dillon Beach. We would go park, and it wasn't too far of a walk from that parking lot, or we would go and park at Schoolhouse Beach, or Portuguese Beach, and just park and look at the water. But woods, if you can get near woods, that is something called forest breathing. I don't know if you've heard of that. And Japan, they have it like as an actual medicine, forest breathing, or forest, is it forest breathing? Now I can't remember, but going into the forest, even if it's for a short amount of time, is going to help your liver. Now, there are meditations you can do. And if you don't have a forest, but you have a tree in your yard or a few trees, go and just sit under the tree or just go and breathe and do some meditations. There are definitely a lot of medical qigong meditations you can do. And for today, in staying in the spirit of what we've been doing, I'm going to guide you in a meditation. Usually, I do the sword fingers with a clockwise circle that gets smaller and smaller and smaller for the vortex to take the energy, the uncomfortable emotions, to recycle and transmute it by the earth because energy has to be moved somewhere else or transmuted into something else. That's the laws of physics, okay? So giving it up to God or source or divine, releasing it to someone can do something about it, or yourself transmuting it into the earth, okay? Just gonna pause a second. So I'm in Santa Rosa today, and I just took off my sweater because Santa Rosa, California is pretty warm, and I have my workout T-shirt that is my husband's Star Wars shirt. Um, and I was like, Star Peace, Star Wars. Peace is not, peace is plural. So inner peace for world peace. That's my mission, helping more people have inner peace so that can ripple out and help create world peace faster. So let's work on our inner peace with the acquired emotions. Think of maybe some place. Oh, let's start first with this, asking God or source for a blessing for this practice. Sword fingers, making like a large clockwise circle that gets smaller and smaller and smaller. If you're below the equator, it can be counterclockwise. However, it's there for just this pulling down the heavens at the beginning because we're going to do something different like we have been from day 1 to 5. This is day 4. So just inhale, pulling down the heavens, energy shower down the front of the body with the HAA sound. Ah, just washing down the front of the body and then the back of the body. Inhale from the earth, inhale from the heavens, pulling down the heavens. Ah, intention is the back of the body and then the center of the body. Intention. Ah, relax. Ooh, that feels good. And then all that, you know, that we want to kind of cleanse off from the day so far, let it go into the earth to be recycled and transmuted. And I want you to think about something in your life that's a bit frustrating. Maybe you're angry about, maybe it's something collective in the world. I know I can get kind of angry about people who sell weapons and make a lot of money off of war. Well, that makes me a bit angry, but I have compassion for those people because they're not spiritually awake and aware enough to know that money, you can't take it with you and it's really not going to give you any happiness. It's what's going to really uh, make you happy is love and compassion and having friendships and relationships that are meaningful. However, when I was in Laredo, uh, Baja California Sur, South, there was a big yacht outside my hotel, and I asked people, "What is that?" And someone's like, "Yeah, that is this, I think it was a German, man who maybe he was for some reason I wanna say he was Danish. I'm not sure. I can't remember anymore. So, but the point is he bought that yacht with money from selling arms, that he was an arms dealer, and, it's like, let's make fertilizer, not bombs, That's my dream, is all the people who have weapons of mass destruction or any kind of bombs or whatever, they figure out how to transmute all that into fertilizer and, train people in their whatever factories that make these things, train them how to be really good childcare providers or teachers or something positive. Same thing with military people. I imagine that they all get trained to educate people on how to, you know, eat healthy or how to grow their own food or something other than inflict harm in a way that we need uh, or, you know, wars. I think it would be great if, we had peace and there was really no need to train people to hurt others. So that's just like what I would say that the biggest thing that I feel a little angry about that's out there in the world right now. However, more personal, I have a daughter who has my grandchildren. We're all living together, and we have, um, for a little while, a family living with us. That's my son-in-law's family, and that is very frustrating for me because it's been a long time now, and I want to be compassionate. However, that's a lot of wear and tear having a whole 'nother family living with us, and on the house. And um, I just think it's time that they go. So I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little impatient, and yet I'm trying to be compassionate. However, so I want to transmute this energy more into compassion and patience, and come up with um, solutions. There's I think it's creative solutions, not problem solving. Staying more in the creative flow, going with the flow rather than solving a problem, you know. But this transmutation for me, or transformation for me, is not only this, but something ancestral for me. The roots, if you think about it, of a tree, and you think about a family tree, um, we have ancestors and maybe parents or grandparents or someone down the line that had a way of behaving or had a way of expressing themselves that maybe we also have. And for me, I definitely, up until now, magic words, have something my father had and my grandmother had. My grandmother from Bolivia, my father also from Bolivia. He and she both had a little criticism way of trying to be helpful. And I have that too. I am trying to be helpful, but it comes off as being critical or judgmental. And I really feel like anybody who is a parent, maybe you know what I mean. Um, it's very challenging for me. And my trademark is every challenge is a gift to grow and evolve. It's very challenging for me not to give my opinion or give advice on how something should be done. And this is frustration and impatience, a little bit anger that, things are done in any kind of way that I, you know, think would be better a different way. And see, that's also control, need for control, which is right side body, usually father or male um, energy, but the right side body is need for control. The right side body is also where the liver is. So surrender, as I was saying before, surrendering control, surrendering what's the lesson that we're intended to learn with everything in challenges, with every challenge, which is a gift to grow and evolve, surrendering to God or source or your higher power of what am I intended to learn? So I think the big thing for me to learn is one, keep my mouth shut. Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it true? It might be feeling like it's necessary. It might be true to me, but it's not kind. most of the time to the person who's hearing it. So this is the challenge that I myself right now, and with my husband too, am working on. So I'm really going to intentionally, which is the four keys of medical qigong: intention, attention, imagination, sensation. I'm really going to intend for myself and everyone who does this, intend that the anger, frustration, impatience, and that energy that can sometimes be around judgment or judging others or judging myself or, you know, thinking that there's a better way and people should do the way I think is best, that's transmuted into a really compassionate and kind energy and patient. But I want to say that kind and compassionate are the key right now for me, being kind, because kindness may be just biting my tongue and letting people make their own mistakes or, you know, this is a big thing of me. My frustration is the diet of my grandkids. I make green smoothies and I share them. Uh, but you know, it's like mouth shut. That's the kindness, okay? That I can just pray and send love and just that's my transmutation right now. Transforming this energy of what feels to me like my frustration or impatience, you know, for with this fat in the family, and then transmuting and transforming that anger with what's going on in the world, you know, with people who are greedy. Ah, God bless them. Hey, that's a judgment. People who have not evolved yet spiritually, having compassion for them and really, you know, everything is always for everyone's highest good always. That surrender. It's everything's for our highest good, you know, let go of control. So, with this meditation we're about to do, I want you to go ahead and think about what is in your life. Close your eyes. What is in your life that may be causing anger, frustration, or impatience, or where you might not be super kind or compassionate or patient. And we're going to do some meditation of imagining on your right side liver, of the right side of your body. We're just going to imagine right now that we're in the forest and we have these beautiful, beautiful pine trees. And we have some redwood trees because we're in California, or at least I am. And we have some beautiful, beautiful birds flying by, and the grass is green. Maybe have some rolling hills in the distance. And just imagine the wood element, that green color, as you inhale compassion, kindness, and patience into the right side, and exhale in front of you a gray smoke that fills the space in front of you with any anger, frustration, and patience. Again, let's just inhale some compassion, kindness, and patience, right side body. And what's in there already, we're going to exhale gray smoke filling in front of us, this anger, frustration, and patience. Maybe it is for the world, the anger for the unnecessary violence and unnecessary greed. Just that frustration, just blow that out of your liver. This gray smoke creates this cloud that becomes like a gray, dark rock in front of you, big, massive boulder that's full of exhale, any anger, frustration, and patience that's going on in your life. Inhale and exhale, letting go of any anger, frustration, and patience into that boulder like rock. Visualize some gold strands in there now. That's wisdom that you've gained from these challenges in your life, in the world. That gold wisdom of things you wouldn't have learned if these things hadn't happened, like maybe hey, it's important to surrender, or hey, I went through that and I learned about how important it is to be kind and how important it is to have compassion and kindness. And just see that gold and bring it back in. Inhale into the liver and exhale, relax. And I want you to see all the gold inside of that boulder coming in to your liver, bringing you wisdom from the anger, frustration, and patience that you've had in your life. Again, see that gold coming out of the rock into you, the wisdom that you've gained because of those challenges. And I want you to see that that boulder is starting to disintegrate and turn into little dust, and it's rising up. That boulder, it's just dark boulder. It's rising up. You're surrendering it. It's a source, God, divine, however you call your higher power, and it is taken away, and it has been transmuted by God or source or divine. However, you feel a little string maybe from yourself to that energy that's going up. And I want you to imagine Archangel Ariel with a big sword with big wings coming down and cuts the cord. And it just is free. There's a freeness, a lightness to your right side, your liver, everything to do with the liver. Imagine the forest around you again and inhale the wood energy, the green color into the right side body, recharging what's always been there. Lips closed, exhale, absorb compassion, kindness, and patience, the virtues you were born with. Inhale again, the wood element, the green color into the right side body, the liver, physical liver, and all that the liver has to do with in the wood element. And this energy is just expanding. It was always there, but now there's more space for it to expand because we've emptied out energetically some of what was there in that space that was taking up space. Now we can see clearer our highest path. We can see clearer with compassion and kindness and patience for ourselves and others. Go ahead and wiggle your toes and fingers, smiling. I somehow ended up in the other direction. Well, it's been a beautiful time with you all. Tomorrow we won't be here, but the day after on the 30th. So if there's any questions, I'll answer them now. Otherwise, I won't be coming back on here unless there's something that I need to answer and share with everyone. Otherwise, I will see you on the 30th, everyone. And remember to sit and meditate, not medicate.